on this Canva.
Ferran Torres.
Oh, Ferran Torres. Good one. I like that.
And Allison.
I
think he's probably earned it.
Wrong.
Fantasy managers, good evening and welcome back to the penultimate edition of the FPL Addicts and Esports Live Fantasy Weekly videocast and podcast. If you missed last week's podcast, we just got a quick video about our upcoming Euro Fantasy Leagues. Here's all the information that you'll need.
Good work, Elliot. Sorry about that little technical glitch at the start, mate. We were live before we even knew it. It does happen. Guys, if you missed last week, obviously we released our news about the Euro 2020 fantasy football leagues that we'll be running with our partner, FPL Addicts. So you can now enter into our competitions. We've got our paid mini league. It's our first ever paid mini league. So if you want to enter into that, it's 25 Aussie dollars. About 13 English pounds. So you can enter that now into our paid mini competition and win a cash prize of $250 for the winner. We will also be having winners on every match day. So there are 7 match days during the Euros, and you can win $30 if you bring in the biggest haul that week for that round. And we can also, we're running our free mini league. So you can enter for free, play for fun, get the bragging rights, and see if you can top that one. The Euros is less than 4 weeks away. I think we're about 25 days out. So it is getting fast approach us. So get your teams ready, enter the competition. If you want to win a bit of money, enter into the paid competition and have a bit of fun. How are you feeling about that, El?
Yeah, mate, can't wait for the Euros. You know, the season's sort of just winding down a little bit now and it's ready for European football again that we missed out on last year. So it's great that we're going to still get the opportunity to see England lift the Euros this season, definitely.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Well, fingers crossed we can do it. Harry Kane will be probably in his new club by then, and then the Guru will hate that. But if you look on the bottom of the screen, if you're watching the VOD, you can enter into the free mini league there. There's code on there. Then also the link for the website is www.east-sportslive.com.au/FPL-addicts/Euro 2020. And you can enter that now.
Brilliant, Jack. So thank you very much for that introduction for all the followers at home. So how are you yourself doing this week? You know, not a lot of Man United football since we last spoke to you. You know, it was a busy week beforehand, but you've had a little bit of time to rest now and just, you know, let the Man United players have a little bit of a break as well.
Yeah, but it's good that they've managed to have the rest. But it was a tough week in FPL, mate. In where we're putting all our energy in. So yeah, tough week in FPL. It was quiet without Bruno and Greenwood firing and Luke Shaw, who's been a big haul in the points for us. But it was good to watch all the other teams and see what was going on there. But it was a tough week and a low average for everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely a very, very weird week without all the Man United assets. The Bruno Fernandes, I think, was the main one for most people that, you know, a lot of people have got him in their team. So, you know, for him to not play, it was quite a big deal for them. But they will be back this week for game week 37, the second last game week of the season. So I'm sure a lot of people will be getting in the Mason Greenwoods and the Bruno Fernandes if they're not already in their team now. But we'll bring in Ollie now. I think is he waiting, Jack? Is he waiting to join?
No, Ollie's. I think he's having a few technical issues as well.
MIA. He's MIA. All right, so we will continue on without him. He was on before, and he said, "Don't wait on me."
There he is, Elliot. Let's bring him in now.
Brilliant. There he is.
I'm not MIA for long.
Ollie, mate, how you doing? Lovely to have you back on the podcast.
Yeah, class. Just technical issues and all that. Trying to load up my computer to get working and. No, but we're here, so yeah, we're all good. How are we all?
Yeah, really good, thank you, mate. It was I know Jack spoke about it being a bit of a difficult week, and I did look at your points beforehand, and I'm sure that you sort of felt the same with it being a little bit of a different and interesting week for you.
I shouldn't have bothered coming on today, mate, because I know I'm just going to face an absolute onslaught. I may as well not been here because I've had a shock. Obviously, hope to finish strong last couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's sprint time, not a marathon time. We said all season it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's now the final little sprint. But game week 37 is now over, and with it brought an average point of 38, which I'm pretty sure Ollie just about reached to take home his trophy at the end of the season.
On the dot.
Right on the dot of 38, squeaky bum time for him. And the highest points this week was 118 points. My 3 shock of the weeks. At number 1, we've got Allison with 10 points, 1 goal. And he only got 2 bonus points, lads. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I was speaking to the guru a little bit. 6 points for a goal from a goalkeeper is just absolutely not enough in Fantasy Premier League. I think it's got to be 10 to 15 points at an absolute minimum. It's like hitting the jackpot if a goalkeeper scores for your fantasy team. At second, we have, Matt will be delighted with this one, we've got Højbjerg from Spurs with 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 bonus points, which gave him 14 points. And to my dismay, Ferran Torres is the shock of the week with 3 goals, 3 bonus points, and 20 points in total. As you can see on the screen, he helped his team to a 4-3 win over the mighty Steve Bruce, who had 17% possession against Pep Guardiola's Man City, and he was celebrating that one this week, lads. I'm pretty sure that's why he was, having the cigars and partying and everything. I don't think it was for the Premier League. I think it's because he beat Bruce, so I'm pretty sure that's the important thing to him. So we'll bring on the guru now as he's waiting as well. It's a bit of everyone's sort of waiting to get on this week. A little bit of a more disorganised one because, it's a quick turnaround towards the end of the season. But he is here. He always makes an appearance. How are you doing, Matt?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Elliot. How's everyone going?
Yeah, really good, mate. You sound like you're walking in the rain.
Yeah, gloomy day for me. Obviously, the Harry Kane news, but look, there's no official quotes, and it just seems like Sky Sports speculating wanting him in a Man United shirt. So,
we all know United.
Well, he wants to win trophies, so I don't know why he wants to go there.
No, come on, Guru.
A little bit of pathetic fallacy there for Matt as he's walking home in the rain after hearing the news of Harry Kane. So we'll move on now to a little bit more gloomy as well, but not entirely gloomy. We'll get to your points this week, Ollie. And as we said before, 38 points, you hit the average, so you're still going to take home the trophy if you can score above the average or on the average for the next 2 game weeks. So no pressure to you, mate. But how did you go this week?
Well, mate, as you can see, I didn't take into account my points hit, so I've gone under for the second time this season.
Mate,
I don't know like what you're saying about I've hit it every week. When Tottenham played Liverpool away, when Liverpool played Tottenham away at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, whatever game week that was, it was around like late January. I missed it then as well. And if we're being technical, I've also missed it here. So it's only the second time this season. But I'll bring my team. You've obviously got my team there. Jota, obviously the injury was annoying. A lot of my players didn't do anything. Obviously, Harry Kane, he's leaving Spurs, but he's not leaving my team in a hurry. Look at that. Captaincy shout. Nailed it. About the only positive I had this week. I had a couple short because obviously I loaded up on the Manchester United assets. Didn't have a game. So that was frustrating. Obviously, another positive out of seeing Burnley get smashed, which we always like to see that. Obviously, Leeds got the clean sheet. So they're about my only 2 positives for the week, mate.
Yeah, and I love how you've stuck the vice captain on Iheanacho, even though he was guaranteed to not have a game. You just had that much faith in Harry Kane to get through there for you.
It's Statman Dave's man. I can't not.
He definitely wouldn't have got you many points this week, mate.
Ianando, is it? Was it?
Alejandro, I think it was.
Alejandro. That was it.
Alejandro from Statman Dave. He definitely is one of his favourite players, I think, this season. A lot of fantasy managers' favourite players for this season towards the back end of the season. And we'll move on to your team now, Jack. 42 points in an average week of 38 isn't too bad of a score, but as we can see, a couple of red triangles there for you. So how are you going to sort of, go around that, and how'd you go this week?
Yeah, so came out with 42 points. I also took a hit to make it all happen this week to get 11 on the field, but turned out I only had 9 on the pitch with Veltman obviously taking the injury and Jota last minute as well. So I had 9 on the pitch, took a hit, so I ended up on 38, which was the average. So happy with that in the end, I guess, with it being such a low average. Went for Son for the captaincy, but he was terrible for Tottenham, I thought.
Awful.
He was got to learn to adapt to that Harry Kane, I guess, doesn't he? So
Yeah, so that was tough to watch. That, to be fair, I watched the full game, going, "Come on, son!" But yeah, Harry Kane getting the goal, thank goodness, and obviously Salah hitting. It worked out right in the end. Dallas I brought in, so that worked well. But yeah, so I've obviously had to make a couple of transfers. Took the United assets out previous week, and then contemplating bringing them back in. But I guess we'll do transfers shortly.
Yeah, and out of all the weeks that you had Seamus Coleman in your team, I'm assuming that you thought Sheffield United at home was going to be the week that he kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, that was it. So with Everton, he did well for me, obviously, during the double game week. And then thinking line up that one as an investment, I thought he was guaranteed to hit well. But yeah, it didn't go too well, that one.
It's just the history of Everton, I guess. You know, they're always the ones that pull out the silly results when they don't need them at most towards the back end of the season. Yeah, absolutely awful at Goodison Park. And we'll move on to your team now, Matt. And we're talking about, below the averages, just on the averages. And you're someone that's absolutely smashed the average this week, 61 points. So just walk us through your team.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I didn't expect such a good score this week. I looked at my team and I was a bit worried without having the Everton defenders and that type of thing. But yeah, look, I've done okay. My transfers were pretty poor though. I put Foden in and Phillips from Liverpool. Obviously, I've come out of 2 points and Foden's got a blank. So hoping Foden gets the nod against Brighton now. But yeah, look, Zaha paid off after his poor double game week. Ward-Prowse as well. So, I spoke about them blanking in the double, but, hopefully delivering this week. And they did. Spot on with Salah as captain, obviously grabbed his goal. And Harry Kane, scoring as well. And the Leeds assets getting their clean sheet. So, yeah, pretty happy with the game week. And, now on to the final sprint.
Yeah, I think a lot of fantasy managers, me and Ollie, and I know you included, were very happy with how their Leeds assets went. How big of a win was that for them? And for a lot of fantasy teams, 4-0 Burnley away was absolutely massive.
Oh, yeah, it was a big win for them. And I think a lot of people would be disappointed, though, with Bamford. He got just under 60 minutes. And, I think that was one everyone sort of flagged for him to come out and grab a couple. But, yeah, in terms of the win for Leeds, big win. 4-0, they've been brilliant this season.
And, any team that can beat Tottenham at their own home ground have got to be a decent side as well, I guess we could say.
Hey, we beat them at home.
Oh, I mean at their home, sorry, mate. I meant away.
Yeah,
same thing.
They were good that day.
Can share the points. They are a very good footballing side, and them being a very good footballing side helped me to 50 points this week, which I was very happy about as well. My transfer in this week was Alioski. Sort of actually speaking of the Tottenham Leeds game, I was inspired by him as his assist to Patrick Bamford in that game. I was inspired by him to get him into my team, and it's pulled off again. He got an assist for Jack Harrison's goal, who was in my team a little bit ago, but it wasn't for this week. Him and Stuart Dallas got me points. Guaita and Ward, unfortunately, the dynamic duo couldn't fire for the second game in a row. Kabak was injured, so was Jota. So they're two assets that are just unfortunately going to have to sit and rot on my bench towards the end of the season, I think, because I don't really know what to do there. Lingard, unfortunately, with another blank, he's sort of tapering down towards the end of the season. Maybe he doesn't want to go to the Euros. Maybe he's not interested or whatnot. He just wants to have a summer at home.
Do you think that's him now for the rest of the season? Do you think he's going to next two?
I think they've got some good fixtures for the last two. They've got West Brom away and Southampton at home. So I think, if there's any time that he's going to start getting the goals and the assists again, I'm sticking faith with him. I think he's got what it takes. But what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he's worth transferring out. It's just whether he's going to hit or not, right? Obviously, what's his ownership? Have you got it on there?
He is 29.6% owned.
Yeah, 29%. So you can't see a lot of people taking him out. I think you'll stick faith in him with the fixtures he's got. But it's weird if he's not firing all the time. Nick, because obviously he's on such good form. Maybe he's Moyes' little golden child in the team. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because when everyone was getting him in their team, we were used to getting on every week and just going, Lingard, another goal, another assist, excellent, 3 bonus points. Happy days, move on to next week, and you just keep doing it over and over again. But you're slowing down.
Yeah,
slowing down.
if he makes a selection for the England squad, hopefully he can bounce back, I guess, and play a part in that with that form. But it'd be interesting to see if he can fight for the rest of FPL.
Do you think Southgate will take him?
Yes.
They can do 30 now. Is it 30 you can pick? And then he puts it down to 26. So you might make the 30. You might make the initial squad and then get caught off maybe.
Maybe. We'll just have to see. Obviously, Gareth Southgate's mind is Gareth Southgate's mind. I'm sure a lot of people would like to indulge themselves into it and knock some sense into him sometimes. But, at the end of the day, his selection is his selection. Salah with the captaincy choice, as like Matt, absolutely spot on this week. Got his goal against West Brom. It's funny, the times I've had him captain this season, he's returned for me more times than not, I think. So he's sort of been a little bit reliable in that sense for me personally. Son, we spoke about earlier, didn't really do too much. Bamford, we spoke about earlier, didn't really do too much. And Harry Kane with the 8 points gave me 50 points in total this week. And we've spoke a lot about Harry Kane already, but I will just fire this one over to Ollie. Where are we thinking that Prince Harry's going to move in the summer, if he moves, or do you reckon he's staying put?
I think he'll stay put, to be honest. Contrary to what a lot of other people are saying, it's one of those where you see other people talk about it. It won't happen, I don't think. I could see him in a Man United shirt, I was saying earlier on today, which I know put a smile on Jack's face, but I was talking about it at school today, and people were saying he's going to the Serie A. Like, he's not going to the Serie A. People at school were saying AC Milan, Inter, Juventus. I wonder if he's on the screen there. No, he's not, but he's in the league somewhere. There was a couple of lads in the league that were saying that they were going to go to Italy somewhere. No, I'm going to say, mate, honestly, if anywhere, it's probably Man United.
Yeah,
I agree there, Ollie. I think that's where
he'll go.
That's where the Guru wants to see him as well.
No chance. You know what? I would have liked to see him go to Barca or Real Madrid if he was going to leave. But I think
he's not going Barca because Aguero, surely.
Yeah, that's right. So
Madrid,
I just
won't afford him.
I just think they're both a little bit behind now in terms of where they were a few years ago. So yeah, England for me, Man City doesn't really bother me. They seem to win everything anyway. So yeah, let him go there if he's going to go. United, it would hurt because they don't win trophies anymore, so I'd be a bit gutted about that.
It's very, very rich coming from the Guru there as a Spurs fan.
From the Tottenham fan. But I think, for me, Harry Kane going into that team would be the missing piece. Obviously, a lot of talk about Sancho going United, but Harry Kane for me, I'd absolutely love him there. I think he fits the bill, fitting perfect, and and get us back on winning the Premier League and back winning the major trophies. That's what Harry Kane needs in his life. Berbatov did it, and now it's time for Harry Kane to do it.
Van
Can't
Persie.
really disagree. Van Persie.
Yeah.
London.
Man United stealing from North London clubs again.
Small London clubs, going up north to Manchester.
But you're talking about a United team from over a decade ago now, boys.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Yeah, listen, you're not wrong, but it's we're going into another era now. We're about to go into back into a revolution for United. It's going to happen.
Are you? I don't know about that, mate. You watched that Roy Keane video the other day?
I know which way Tottenham are going. That's all I know.
Oh, mate, I know that. I'm not going to retaliate to that one at the moment. We haven't even got a manager.
Just let him go, Guru. Just let him go. Right, what we're doing for transfers?
Jota out. Easy. Jota out. I can't go to Greenwood because obviously I've got the 3 United lads in already. In Shaw, Wan-Bissaka and Bruno. So Greenwood would have been ideal. I could afford him financially as well, which is a pain. I could have got to him, but I don't know who I'm going to go to. But Jota out to someone. I might have a quick look, actually. I'll give you an answer in a minute.
What about you, Guru?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Look, I got my eyes on Greenwood, but Jack, question for you. Do you think he'll start?
I don't know. I think he's probably likely to start with Cavani in the big games now, and Greenwood will probably start the game. But he has rotated a fair bit, Ollie. To be fair, and you're taking each game as it comes. Listen, I think Greenwood will start this game. Yes, if I'm deciding.
Look, if I can get the the nous that he's going to start the game, then I think Greenwood for Zaha would be a pretty handy switch. otherwise I'm maybe eyeing up Antonio in or Bamford in for Iheanacho. But not too sure at the moment. I think it'll be a deadline decision.
Ooh, the Guru's made a couple of them this season, haven't you? A couple of last minute decisions. Remember the wild card towards the earlier start of the season when Ollie played it and you played it as well, and it really, really paid off for you. So hopefully those transfers pay off for you. And Jack, what are you going to be doing? What moves are you going to make? Are you going to roll over? Surely not towards this end of the season.
Absolutely not rolling over, mate. I do love a transfer. So it's Jota. I've already made it. Like Rafinha is in. I brought him in. I've been obviously chatting about him going to Tottenham. I thought he'd be a good candidate to go to Tottenham or something like that, Rafinha. So he's coming from Leeds against Southampton and West Brom away. So the investment for the rest of the season is good, I think. And then I've already taken out Iheanacho. I brought in Antonio.
Lovely, nice, like that. I was looking at a lot of the West Ham assets. I was actually looking at Jared Bowen of all people because I actually need a midfielder, maybe just for 2 games worth a punt towards the end of the season. But maybe the Guru's already got him snapped up in his Guru section today, so we'll just have to wait and see. But we'll quickly just round off the top 10 in the mini league as it comes to a close. In first, steaming ahead, we've got Tom Stones. In second, we've got Brian Curtis. In third, we've got Paganotis. In fourth, Keith Thomas. In fifth, we've got Deza. In sixth, Rash Murray. I've got myself in 7th. In 8th, we've got Ano Machiba. In 9th, Steve Harris. And in 10th, Jimmy Russell. So that rounds up how we went for this week and the teams and the league. So we'll move on now to the information part of the podcast, the Guru section from Matt Day. And he's got his differentials, his teams to watch, and his captain picks.
Is he there?
Thanks, Elliot. Hope you can hear me, boys. I'm just in a lift. You might be able to hear just now. I'm about to
going
get
down.
out.
Did I say going down?
You made that a lot of the Newcastle fan, Elliot. Bloody hell.
Spurs with that Harry Kane going down.
It is, I think. Yeah, look, thanks, boys. Look, I'll start with. I'm going to start my differentials, and I'm going to go a little bit outside the. Outside the rules this week. I obviously normally go below the 10%, but I'm going to go with a player who's 12% owned. Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is due a start. He's back from injury. He's been training. They got Brighton away. 12% selection for a world-class footballer. I think you get him in and you captain him. He could be a huge call this week. So really liking Kevin De Bruyne. And then if we're going to look at another side whose fixtures I like for the rest of the season, it's Leeds. Rodrigo, who come on against Burnley, scored 2 goals with 12 points, 2.2% owned. So really, really liking him this week. I think he'll get the start as well, probably behind Bamford. So if you're a Bamford owner, I think you'll still get minutes from him as well. And another differential for this week, which Elliot is going to absolutely love. And I think Jack's a bit upset about not getting him in the draft. And it's going to be Joe Willock, the on loan player from the Gooners. 1.4% ownership, 4.8 million, and he's returned in his last 2 games. So really, really liking him. And he's got basement boy Sheffield United at home. So really liking him. And then if you get him for this week, you get him for the Fulham away fixture next week as well. So really, really, really liking that one. And then moving on, we'll go to my last differential for the week. And I'm going to go to West Ham. So they've got a good fixture away at West Brom. Form's dipped down a little bit lately, but it's going to be Jared Bowen, who was mentioned by Elliot, at 2.7% ownership. But his form's dipped in the last few weeks, but I think West Brom away and Southampton at home is a good fixture for him.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's nice to see that you've got the best English player from North London in your differentials there. But can we complete the double? Are Newcastle going to feature in your teams to back? We spoke last week about how you've usually got the team playing Sheffield United at home in your teams to back. So have you done it this week?
Oh, it was tough this week. I'm not going to lie. Newcastle were on there as the third one, and then I dropped it at the last minute. And this was for Ollie's sake, because if I didn't put Liverpool in there away at Burnley, I think Ollie wouldn't have been too pleased. Obviously, he's not a huge fan of Burnley, and I think Liverpool are going to go in there this week. I think they're going to be on a bit of a buzz, a bit of a high after that Alisson goal. So they're definitely one of my teams. And the other two, Jack's team, Man United, have to be in there at home to Fulham. They've had a few days rest. Fulham are bottom of the league. Bottom three. So they're definitely going in there. And then Manchester City, 100% going in there against Brighton. I think Brighton have got a few injuries at the back. Man City have got a pretty fresh team. They played their kids at Newcastle on Friday and still managed to win. So, they've definitely got to go in there from my three teams.
Yeah, well, if you're not going to have Brucey's mags in there, you might as well have teams that play just about the same level of football, just about on par, I'd say, those three teams. But we'll move on to your captain picks now. And I'm actually going to listen to this with my ears wide open because I'm not too sure who I'm going to go as my captain shout for this week. So take it away, mate.
Yeah, captains. I think we've got a couple of obvious ones this week, and definitely Bruno Fernandes at home to Fulham. Greenwood, if you're confident he's going to play, goes in there. So definitely a couple of Man United boys. Then I'm going to put Harry Kane in there. It's got to be in there. He's still going for that golden boot. He'll want to impress our fans in what's probably going to be his last game in front of him. Hate to say that. And then Salah definitely going in there as well. And look, I might even put. I was a curveball in, but I'm gonna pick another curveball. I might even put Joe Willock in as my next captain shout this week.
Absolutely love that one, mate. Absolutely big fan of that. We'll get onto it a little bit later with the draft, but there's been moves around him in the draft league for this week. So he's definitely on a lot of people's radars for this season. And you mentioned your curveball captain. So who is your curveball for this week, mate? You know what?
I've saved him to now. He's got a good fixture. And it's going to be the man we spoke about on Twitter earlier today. It's going to be Joel Linton. and that's not a joke either.
I love it.
No, Wilson, he scored a pen last week. He just seems to pop up with a goal every now and then. I think this is a great fixture for him. And we had a bit of a joke around it on Twitter, but I'm going to put him as the curveball and I'm going to go for it.
Well, mate, maybe it's the move that I have to make in my classic team. Get Joel Linton in, stick the armband straight on him, because he actually, thinking off the top of my head now, first game back after Project Restart last season, he was Sheffield United at home, and he actually scored. So maybe it's his favourite fixture after Tottenham. Maybe we'll have to we'll look at getting him in for this week. Yeah, or Oxford away, mate. Doesn't really matter. Got to play what's in front of you, Ollie. Got to play what's in front of you, and it won't be too long before Oxford away is in front of you every single season, mate. So,
mate, it was a couple of seasons ago in League One. Don't worry about that, mate.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you very much for that, Matt. That wraps up an awesome Guru section. So we'll move on now to the final section. There you are, Jack. We'll move on now to the final section of the podcast. It's the draft section. It's everybody's favourite. It's always been the best one in the world. After coming off a win this week in draft for me has made me have a little bit more interest in it this week. But if we bring the share screen up, we can see that there's a reason Jack's got a straight face. And he's not smiling from ear to ear too much. And I'm sure if you could see the Guru, he'd have the biggest grin on his face, because the Guru has beaten Jack by 16 points. What a win for you, Matt.
Unbelievable. I cannot believe I managed to pull that one off, especially when Torres got that hat-trick. I thought, that's it. I'm done. I'm not coming back. And Palace have done me a big favour. And obviously Sheffield United grabbing a couple of goals, stopped Jack's defence. And Salah, I always had faith in Salah. And then the two Spurs boys obviously helped me out massively in defence too. So, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to beat the draft Guru. He put a lot of pressure on me as well last week. So, I'm happy to take the 3 points.
Yeah, and Jack, how do you feel? It's not slipping away from you. There's still plenty to play for. There he is, grinning from ear to ear. But no, it's going to definitely probably the Gurus to lose now. You'd like to think 3 points on you heading into the last two games of the season. But what went wrong for you this week? 42 is not a bad score at all. Was it just luck of the draw this week?
Oh, mate, Everton assets. All the other, I obviously had the triple up on there, and going into that Sheffield United game, you thinking, I think it might be all right here, but then, they didn't step up. Obviously, Ings and Antonio didn't do much. Grealish came on as a sub, I think, in that one. Took a gamble on Zinchenko. Listen, I think that was about it. And obviously, it's just the Crystal Palace assets absolutely killing me. all three of them hitting. It's the first time they've turned up all season, really. Apart from Zaha early on. I think, Benteke's in a good bit of form, innit? I think we mentioned him on the pod last week. And then Eze, I had him in as a bit of a, I brought him in mid-season, I think, didn't I? I think I had him in for about 5-6 match weeks, and he did absolutely nothing. And he's obviously a top player, but he's, killed me there.
He's absolutely come back to haunt you there. And we'll just take a quick look at what that does to the league. As I mentioned, Matt Claw's 3 points away from Jack. And it's definitely going to go right down to the wire. We've spoke about it all season. Definitely going to be, a final day, lift of the trophy, lift of the Papa John's trophy. So we'll just, have to see how it goes. Ollie, I'm sure you've got absolutely no clue about this, but you did beat Papa Peely. You beat your dad by 7 points. It was a low scoring affair, 26 points to 19. How nice is it to grab a win over your old man?
Well, the thing is, he actually checked it this week.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm saying it. He actually checked it. And he was like, because we were sat together in the lounge room, and he was just saying, how come our game's 0-0? And he was checking the chat, not actual FPL. And he was just reading through the chat, and he was still managing to banter off Rolando, even though he hasn't checked it in like the last 25 weeks. He was still saying, oh, Rolando's not got a clue, this, that, and the other. So that was a bit interesting, but yeah, I'll take the win. Still, actually, while I'm here, I'm still a mathematical shot to win the league. So second half of the
probably not on goal difference, mate. If you look at that,
tell me
you've
I'm
got
wrong. Mathematically, tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, mate, precarious mathematics from you there. That is absolutely shocking. We'll just have to see. I mean, it would take an absolute miracle for you to lift this trophy now. It's probably a 2-horse race, I'd be inclined to say. And then James Gasden beat David, which is quite a shocking result, that lad, isn't it, for James to come away and beat Statman, who's the highest point scorer in terms of classic points for the league this season, Statman Dave. And James has sort of been hanging around third to bottom for most of the season. So was he happy with that one, Matt?
Yeah, he was buzzing off that. Obviously, he's got a massive score, and he's out for blood this week. He wants to beat me. Even before I beat Jack, he's like, sorry, mate, I can't be doing you no favours next week. I know you've got a title race on. And, I said, look, I want it to be a fair game. So, if he beats me, then he's got to do me a favour in the last week and beat Jack. But, hopefully I get the 3 points anyway. But, he's buzzing off his recent form. I think he's on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, absolutely, as he should be. And then speaking of form, the most difficult place to go away in the league this season, Rolando away. And I managed to come away with 3 points, doubling his score and more. So, I was very thrilled with the 3 points there to get the boys back rolling in the league again. But if we look forward to this week, Jack's probably got what's known as routine as a win that can be. We'll just start to mount the pressure on now just a little bit to see if he can handle it. He's got Papa Peely in his game. Jack, how confident are you going into that?
I'll get him to check it.
No, don't let him check it. I need these points. If I know he's done a few decent hauls, hasn't he, Peely? So we'll have to see where it is. But I think I've managed to get 4 of my 5 transactions in and change it around a bit. Obviously, I've dropped Godfrey in there, and I actually brought Dele Alli. He looked really good in that last game, Ali. So I've got all the Ali in there. And who else did I bring in? I got Nathan Aki because I thought he'd probably play in the City game. And it was Alioski, your favourite, Elliot. So I brought a couple of transfers in, and I fancy the game obviously against Peely. I need to keep this pressure on. I need to finish strong and give it a good go. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, we can't be letting Matt be the classic and the draft guru for next season. So someone's got to try and claw one of those titles away from him. And Matt, you spoke about it before. You against James. He's having an eventful finish to his FPL season, James, in both classic and draft. He's got his brother to beat in classic, and he's got one of his best mates to beat in draft. So are you going to try and spoil his season a little bit early?
Yeah, I hope so. He's a bit of a bogey team for me this season in draft, which Jack will like to hear. But I'm confident. I think my lineup's good this week, so I'm expecting 3 points, and hopefully that wins me the title a week early. I can get the champagne out.
Get the champers out, yeah, definitely. And me and Ollie can celebrate our mid-table finishes, no matter what the result is in this game.
But, mid-table! Mid-table!
You're slipping down, mate. You're going to slip.
Table back up. Bring that table right back up.
If we look at your goal difference...
Mate, it's 3 against 6, you plonker. Mate, get out of
lucky,
here.
you've been lucky this season, mate. 1,420 points, and you got 60 points in total, and I've got 1,452, and I've got 54. You've just been lucky every week, mate, with the teams that you've drawn. You played Rolando every week by the looks of it.
Oh, mate.
like-
I am
like taking
determined to
candy
win
from a
now.
baby.
I am determined to win now.
I've
Mate,
got Joe
I'll
Willock.
tell
There's
you
nothing
what.
you can do. I've got Joe Willock. You're absolutely stuffed, mate. I don't know what I can say.
Good
I
point.
didn't manage to get
Good
Joel
point.
Linton. I was too slow for Joel Linton, which I'm devastated about. So maybe I will
Mate,
have to look at getting him in
I'll
for
tell
my
you what,
class
mate.
team.
You may well. I'm bringing out the finger. I'm bringing out the pointing finger. You've got Joe Willock, but I've got something up my sleeve that is your kryptonite, and you knew nothing about it.
Well, you can't make transactions now, mate. So if I look at your team, that's what it's got to be. So if I look at your
Well,
team, it's
Of course I can. I can do what I want, mate.
you
Can do what I
literally
want,
can't.
mate.
You literally physically cannot make transactions after the deadline now, Ollie. So I wish you the best of luck with your planned transactions there, mate. And then to round off the week, we've got Statman Dave against Rolando, and we're all rooting for you, Dave. We want you to have a good finish to the season. You've been hard done by with the teams that you played on the week, and you've got some absolutely monster scores. So best of luck to you for the game this week. And we'll just take a quick look at the table. Matt Day sitting at the top on 66 points. Jack following just behind on 63 points. Ollie in starting the mid-table positions is on 60 points. Dave on 57 points. James just behind him on 56. Myself just behind James on 54. And then the basement boys of the league, Peely on 28 and Rolando on 22. And Ollie, I'm sure you like that little comment about mid-table there, mate. I'll keep tormenting you about it all week, mate. All week, rent-free in your head.
Mate, I'm going to win. I don't even care. I do not care.
This fixture last time, I remember you beat me. So yeah, if Matt's bogey team's James, then so be it. But I've got nothing to lose now, mate. So it's full swing ahead towards the end of the draft league, and it's going to be a brilliant finish to the season for drafts. That wraps up the podcast for today, and another draft section on the podcast as well. Make sure you liking and sharing and joining all the European Super League, the Euro Fantasy Leagues. Don't be doing anything with the European Super League. Join the Euro Fantasy Leagues for this season, and take care, stay safe, and may all your FPL dreams come true. And tune in next week for the final podcast of the season.